channel. Today we're back in Manchester, a very hot and a very busy Manchester, and I'm starting here at the top of Market Street, and I've just been showing you this side of the Arndale. Really, I'm showing that for a reason, because I'm going to show you the other side of the Arndale in a little while, to show you the difference between how that looks and how the other part looks down on Corporation Street. Now, I'm not one for really filming in shopping centres, and as it's very busy, I don't really like talking to camera in front of a load of people, but I started up here because I wanted to show you the difference between that side of the Arndale and this side of the Arndale. And also Market Street can be have some interesting people. This is the part where you get all your high street shops here, and quite often this is a place where you also get buskers and street preachers and street performers, so hopefully we'll see something along the way that might be quite interesting.
What's this now?
As you walk down Market Street, you'll go through a tunnel, and you'll see the NatWest Bank on there. There's a Vietnamese street eat shop over there. When you get to this point, you take a right, and then you'll be on Corporation Street, which is where we're headed today, the subject of this video. It's a very busy day today. It's a little bit darker here, a little bit cooler. As you can see over there is the Marks and Spencer's, which is obviously brand new, and as you can already see, the architecture here looks very different. So here we're on the other side of the Arndale Centre, as you can see, which is behind me. You see it's very different from the yellow architecture, the 1970s architecture. So just across the road there is the M&S. That was where the actual truck was parked that day, and the explosion took place. So all the original building here was all destroyed, and so obviously it's been rebuilt, and so that's why when you're here, it has a much more modern feel to the area on the other side where we started at the top of Market Street. If you walk across from the actual Arndale Centre, you come over to this bit where you've got the mixture of the old behind us there, and you've got the new over here. So you've got your Harvey Nichols and your new Cathedral Street there. And then building over there, you've got the old Wellington and the Sinclair Oyster bar over there. And they were actually more round about where I'm standing now, across the road. And when they were redeveloping this after the bomb blast, they actually demolished them brick by brick carefully and then rebuilt them over there. So they're two of the oldest pubs in Manchester, but they're in an actual different place. And just up here, there's something else that was preserved and moved, well, near enough the same position, but something else that was preserved and is original from that day is the famous pillar box. You might have seen it on Instagram. A lot of people take pictures of it, and it's got a plaque on it, which I'll show you shortly. And on there, I don't know if you'll be able to read it on there, but it says this postbox remains standing almost undamaged on June the 15th, 1996, when the area was devastated by a bomb. The box was removed during the rebuilding of the city centre and was returned to its original site on November the 22nd, 1999. Now, there are some people who question whether this is the actual original postbox. There's a couple of guys who are local historians, and they do walking tours around the city, and if you look on their websites and their Facebook page, they'll state categorically that this isn't the actual postbox. I mean, I read this recently and I've looked for evidence supporting their claim, and there's nothing on, well, no evidence at all, to be honest with you, to back up their claim. When you go on their website or you go on their Facebook and ask them for their evidence, their reply is, "Oh, you'll have to come and join the walking tour and we'll tell you." I mean, for me, that makes me think it's just a bit of a conspiracy theory that they're using as a clever hook to encourage people to come on their walking tours. They call themselves historians, and they seem to have pretty good credentials. One of them worked in the local cathedral, one of them's worked for Private Eye and The Guardian in the past, but I think a credible historian, if he had evidence to support this claim, would publish it in a paper or a book, and he'd provide the evidence. I'm not sure they'd be going on Facebook making claims and then telling people who want evidence to, well, you're going to have to join the walking tour. There's some of the people online who agree with the theory that this isn't a real postbox, will say that during the clean-up they wouldn't have bothered to keep this postbox, they would have just chucked it out, and at a later date what they did, they decided to find a new Victorian postbox and put it here. I don't agree with that theory myself. I think, for one, the whole place would have been scoured for forensic evidence. It would have been a methodical clean-up. It wouldn't have just been a case of a load of diggers coming in and sticking it all in a skip. And also, where would they have found another Victorian postbox? I know it's not impossible, but to me that theory sounds more far-fetched than the official theory. And if you think about just up the road, them two pubs I've shown you that were rebuilt brick by brick, I think preserving this postbox and keeping it here doesn't sound that far-fetched to me. I mean, this postbox would have been built to withstand bomb blasts and to save the actual contents of it. So I think this would have been taken away and examined forensically. Hopefully some people might have still got the post. But yeah, so I don't really think there's enough evidence to convince me that this isn't the original postbox, and I think the alternative theories sound a lot more far-fetched to me than the actual official line. One of the historians says he doesn't even think the IRA did it. In fact, he says on his Facebook channel they probably didn't. I don't know who he suggests did do it. Again, you've got to spend some money and go on his walking tour to find out, but I can't imagine who else would have had the means or the expertise to carry this out. There was a coded message sent by the IRA that day. People were evacuated. Like I said, nobody was killed. Who else would have had the motive? Maybe plenty of people had a motive to bomb Britain that time, but what terrorist organisation would have had the expertise and the means to do it? I'd like to hear his suggestion. Obviously the IRA took credit for it, they admitted to it, they even apologised to the people who got injured. And that doesn't mean they definitely did it. I understand that sometimes terrorist organisations will take credit for something that they didn't do, but I don't think the IRA needed to do that. They had the means, and they certainly had the resources to carry this out themselves. Have you been on one of these walking tours? Are you convinced by what they tell you? Maybe you're one of the guys who carries out these walking tours and you'd like to tell us a bit more information. Maybe for people who aren't in Manchester and not coming to Manchester would like to know, and they can't book on your walking tour, let me know. I'd happily have a walk around with you and hear what you've got to say. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit me a like. If you've got any comments on what I've said today or on the video, generally any constructive criticism or anything I've got wrong, please send me a comment.